Hey, what's going on, everybody? Andrew here, Cyndee here from Yin Yang Asset Management. Thanks for tuning in to our podcast today. So, Cyndee, we have an important topic to talk about today.
We have a very important topic.
We get asked this a lot, like a lot. And one of the things is, so, Cyndee, what does it take to become an asset manager?
That is a very loaded question.
It is.
Yeah.
So we want to dive in today. So, is there a specific degree? Is there a certification? Is there something you recommend? Obviously, our class would be a good start, I think.
Yes, our class is a good start. But we want to talk about maybe like your headspace.
Yeah.
Like what does it take to be an asset manager?
Yeah,
I think would be a good.
I think to start, go back to our previous podcasts that we talk about, what is the difference between asset management, property management? Because Cyndee does break it down for all of you, what is the difference, number one, and what are some things that you've had to endure during your time, and how to best lead your teams. That we talk about, we're playing chess, not checkers.
Yes.
So you mentioned headspace, but kind of in your words, what does it take, and so on and so forth.
Well, you don't have to have a degree. I mean, it's not required to be the asset manager. Mm-hmm. But I think if you enjoy numbers and Excel spreadsheets, because there's a lot of them, and you are able to be somewhat of a visionary, because you have to buy into the business plan.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most important. So that means that you need to understand why the property was bought and what is the plan to make the returns to be able to pay the investors. And so what it takes to be an asset manager is a lot of time. In my opinion, it takes a lot of time and patience, because you're dealing with property management, you're dealing with GPs, which are the general partners, that's the ownership. And then a lot of times you're dealing with LPs, the limited partners, because they have questions. And so
the lender.
And then you've got the lender, you've got the city, you've got your insurance. So, I mean, you have a lot of people that you kind of answer to. I look at it as an information gathering position, where you just are constantly gathering information. Because you have to make decisions, but you want to make informed decisions. And honestly, I don't want to be the one making the decision. So I often have asset management teams. So we have teams that we work together. We always meet after the property management call to see what we need to do. So then, sometimes people get assignments or different things that they're in charge of. And then you have to go to the GPs and be able to present to them, okay, this is what we're looking at. This is kind of what we're either up against, or we're trying to get ahead of the curve on this, or this is what's coming up. And so we always want to manage up. So we're always wanting to talk with them about what's coming ahead. And not, now there are times that we have to deal with, this is what's happening in the moment. Because, I have one particular property that we could call it a novella.
Yeah.
There's always things happening at that property. But we always want to stay ahead of the curve, and we want to be able to tell the GPs this is what's going on, and then give direction to the property management.
Yeah.
But I think you have to have numbers, be able to work with numbers, be able to have patience dealing with people, but I think all those things can be taught. So I don't want to say anybody can be an asset manager, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. If it's something that you have a passion for, if you like seeing maybe a project, like you do like doing projects start to finish, asset management's good, because you buy the property, you have a business plan, you have CapEx, you have unit trackers, and you like seeing it all the way to the end. That'd be a good thing.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times some of the better asset managers are previous project managers, previous managers in general, leaders. That's why we teach leadership in the course itself. So it's one of those things where that's why we teach it, because you are working with people on a daily or weekly basis. So you're talking with property managers, you're talking with regional managers, you're talking with vice presidents of the property management side, you're talking with lenders, you're talking with whatever contractors that you're working with, and you're leading your own asset management team.
Yes.
Because now your team is coming to you, Cyndee, hey, what do you want me to do in this situation? I know I was in the car with you the other day and somebody called you and said, hey, Cyndee, I got this going on, but then they want to know about this and this. And you're like, okay, well, now you're like the quarterback. Okay, I need you to run this play. I need this. And then when you run that play, this person's going to run the play. And everyone's coming to you.
Yes.
And for solutions, with questions, looking for answers. So that is something you would want to feel comfortable to be put in that position. If you are very much of an introvert and you don't want to talk to anybody and I'm sorry to say, it's probably not the best fit.
Right.
I would say you're better off reverse engineering yourself and figure out, what do I like to do? What am I good at? And figure out, okay, am I more of an introvert and I like numbers and I don't really want to talk with anybody? Well, if you like numbers and you're introvert, maybe you could get on the back behind a computer and do underwriting, because you're kind of like in your own little zone.
Yeah.
You're working and like, hey, you don't have to really lead people and communicate with project team members and so on and so forth. But if you, like Cyndee said, if you are somebody who, in some ways, an extrovert who could talk to somebody, hey, Cyndee, how's everything going? What's going on with this project? How, tell me about your property, right? Then you got to get them talking. That's a little bit more of an extrovert. And if, again, you have project management experience, if you've been a leader in some way, whether that's maybe military or you in your own business, you're an entrepreneur, then you have to just
definitely.
Yeah, an entrepreneur mindset. People who've been in property management can be a good asset manager. And the reason why I use that phrase can be, something that property managers do struggle with is the fact that they stay in the property manager mindset and they don't get out of their own mind. They don't become owners. And there is a difference.
There is a difference.
So I know something where, for me, I am an entrepreneur, but I also have my property management business. But at the same time, I understand this is a business and I need to make money. And it's not something where I can be lovey-dovey customer service all day. It's like, hey, I need to turn a profit. This is a business. So sometimes I've seen it happen where property management team members get too friendly with the residents and they're like, befriend them as like too close. Oh, we can't raise the rent because of this. Or I love that person because of that. I think you said you had a property manager who was like too close to the residents.
Yes.
And you gotta walk that fine line of saying, hey, I'm your property manager, but at the same time, this is a business, but I can be customer service, but I'm not going to like friend you and befriend you.
Right.
So if you need to raise rents and you're doing 2%, 3% rents year over year or whatever that number is, you can't have them pull on your heartstrings and say, oh, but I'm just having a rough time right now, job. Like it's a business. So that's where some property managers fail to become good asset managers, because their heartstrings get pulled too many times.
Yeah. So are you saying I have to be cold-hearted to be an asset manager?
She's a cold-hearted snake. Woo, look into her eyes. I'm probably going to get tagged for copyright after that, because I nailed it on that one. I don't know. You have to be cold. I don't think you should be cold, but there should be, like I said, that line that not to cross.
Yeah.
And that I would tell them, like, hey, I want to be of assistance to you and help you, but just understand this is a business.
Yeah.
And if you're able to keep at least that arm's distance and just say, hey, I could help you and work with you, but if you're late, you're late. Like, you're late.
You have to pay the late fee.
You have to pay the late fee.
Yeah.
And they learn from that.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like we teach it in our course. We teach the leadership part, but we also teach you have to know how to read a financial.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
there is, if you have a background in accounting, any kind of accounting would help, because then you're looking at financials. It helps you understand the numbers when you're looking at NOI. But if you don't know that, like I said, we teach that in the course. We teach you how to read it, how to understand it, what to look for, and what trends that we're looking at when we're looking at a T12.
Yeah, that's something where there's a I don't know if it's a quote or a phrase that I heard, but like, if you don't control the day will control you.
Yes.
So as an asset manager, you really have to control the day. You have to understand what's going to happen, not only that day, but in the week upcoming, 2 weeks upcoming, a month upcoming, because there's going to be projects that if you're not forecasting and looking in the future, you could be like, oh shoot, we're supposed to be replastering our pool, and then you're like, oh, we got to do it. And it's in the middle of summer. You didn't plan it out very well.
Exactly.
Because all of your residents want to use the pool in the summer, so you're trying to forecast and think about it. Well, they can only do it when it's not raining, or you have to work. That's what I'm saying. You need to play chess. So if you've noticed, you're always behind the ball and you're not forward thinking and what's going to happen in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. How do we change our lease expirations? We didn't talk about that previously, but you look at all your leases that are expiring and you're saying, wait, something's not right. We have so many leases expiring in November, December, January. Those are some of your slowest months.
People don't move during the holidays.
They're not. So as an asset manager, if your property manager is not bringing that to light, you are responsible. The buck stops with Cyndee.
Yes.
You need to bring it to light and say, hey, we need to extend or shorten the lease renewals to where it falls into a more linear bill for the summer, or if that works for you, or we need to make it shorter, or we need to make it longer.
Yep.
Right? And so that way you're kind of doing this with your lease expirations versus you're seeing November, December, and then like July goes like this, and then it needs to be more of a linear curve.
But I think all of the being able to look at those things and forecast, that's what you need to be an asset manager.
Yeah.
And you really have to be willing to hear other people too. Mm-hmm. That I can admit when I'm wrong, like,
yeah,
because I'm not always right, and it's
me neither.
It's okay. That's how
Takes
we
humility.
learn and grow.
Yep.
Sometimes I maybe dig my heels in a little bit, but I try not to. I try to be open-minded, and that's something that you definitely need as an asset manager, because you're going to get all different kinds of ideas from all different places. I'm always trying to learn and grow. So anything that's asset management, I'm reading it, following it, studying it, because I want to be better. I want to manage up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the more that you're closed-minded, or you're like, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this. If you catch yourself saying those phrases, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. Then you need to have a self-reflection moment and look in the mirror and say, hey, do I truly know everything? Is this something that I can learn from? Am I open-minded? And take in a moment and say, how open-minded, I use this expression, how open-minded are you about your business? And if your answer is, I know everything, then you need to have some self-reflection and say, no, there are some new things that are coming out, whether that's AI, whether that's a person's other experience. Like, I've been also doing this for 15 years and I know also what I'm doing. Great. Tell me your perspective. I'm here. I'm open to hear that. So if you want to become an asset manager, there's lots of resources to you. Cyndee and I, we do have a day in the life of an asset manager every Monday at 4:00 Pacific Standard Time. That's one of the free resources. We also have on Facebook, we have our Yin Yang Asset Management.
Yes.
Group.
And on Instagram.
So you can do that as well. So the social media is Facebook, Instagram, the Facebook group. If you're an alumni, we also have an alumni group that we're very passionate about as well.
And YouTube.
So obviously you're going to be watching this on YouTube and other shorts as well. So if you guys are interested in learning more about us, please visit our website, www.assetmanagement.com. Cyndee, do you have anything else to chat about today?
See you in class.
See you in class. Take care.